All right, let's roll with it. Here we are with Fuhrmy, 2-1 last week. Myself 3-0. Tell me how you felt last week, Fuhrmy.
Felt pretty good. Auburn killed me. I thought they would put up a much better fight against Mississippi State, but Florida LSU over on a pick six late in the game, and A&M covered Kentucky. So I'll take those wins. Little disappointed in Auburn though, honestly.
You know, I keep looking at these conference plays, and they're getting harder and harder. What do you think going forward here? We're about halfway through the season. Some of the rivalry games are going to start picking up. Is there anything particularly that you're looking for?
So I'm probably going to stay away from rivalry games just because sort of anything can happen. They're so hard to predict. I'm just looking for teams who sort of hit some slow skids or who really turned around and are start looking to be, contenders for the conference crown. So that's where I'm trying to focus my time now because we're sort of in a lull here in the middle of the season.
Some of these conference plays, it get tight. Sometimes the games slow down. It makes me a little nervous. I was looking at your first play, and it kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. I'm going to let you run into it, and just tell me what you're thinking here with your first play this week there, Firm.
All right. So I'm taking the under on Florida and Vanderbilt. The reason being, so Vandy, of course, they started hot, and they lost 3 of their last 4 with their only win coming only by 4 against Tennessee State, who is by no means a contender, especially when you're comparing them to SEC competition. So that loss at Notre Dame, that close loss, sort of took the wind out of their sails. So I think they're going to lean on the run, which is what they can do best. Florida's been proven that they can be run on, but I will say their defense has looked a lot better against the run the last couple weeks. And they got a good test last week against LSU. So I think Florida relied on their defense all year. They're going to do that again this week. They rank 8th in the nation in scoring defense, and they only give up 14 points a game. I think that's probably what's going to happen again this week, maybe 17 or 20. But at the same time, I don't think Florida's a team that's going to sort of keep their foot on the gas and step on anyone's throat. So I would not be surprised with like a 27-20 win or something like that, but I like the under this week.
It's at 50.5. Who's putting up 31 points, Fermi? Who?
It's going to be Florida, if anybody.
Do you have any thoughts into Vanderbilt right now? Are they falling apart? Like, did they hit stride and that was it?
Yeah, I mean, they're 0-2 in the SEC. I think they lost to South Carolina and Georgia, I believe, if I remember correctly. So that's 2 quality opponents. It's not going to get any easier against Florida this week. Florida's defense is really clicking on all cylinders, and they're going into a bye next week. So I think they're going to try to get up early, just sort of milk the clock. I think they're going to lean on the run and just rely on their defense to just get out of there uninjured, take the rest, and then they're coming back to a tough part of their schedule after the bye.
That's unbelievable that number is that high. I'm really surprised. I thought that would have been like maybe 46 or 47, maybe at the most. 51 points down to 50.5. I mean, goodness, that's 31-21. I don't see that for me. It makes me think of that Notre Dame game where I was like, if someone scores 20, is that it? And you were like, yep, that was pretty much it. And lo and behold, that's what happened.
22-17 was that game, I think.
Well, there you go.
Along those lines.
I don't see it. I can't. For someone who loves overs, I don't see it. I can't play it. I agree with you. I like that under. I might actually play that one, and I don't even like unders. I'm gonna stick with what I know, and who I know right now is Bowling Green, and they're awful. I mean, they're so bad that I love it. This over against Western Michigan was at 72. It's down to 70. I'm going to give this one short, sweet, and to the point. Give me the over in this. Until this runs under my philosophy. Until they don't, I'm going to keep taking it. So I'm all over this over. I think they have no run defense at all. I don't even know. This is horrible handicapping. I can't name a player on Western Michigan, but I don't need to. Someone's putting up 42 points in this game. Someone's putting up 35. The line's at 14 and a half. I would say it's closer than that. From what I've seen from Western Michigan in the box score, just looking at it, it doesn't make you go, wow. I mean, they got blown out by Michigan, but pretty much everyone has lately that's been playing them. I just don't see it. Give me the over. That's a 3:00 game. Let's put some points on the board and get back to Fuhrmy here. Fuhrmy, looking at your second pick, I see you're hanging on a 7 right now, and that line hasn't dropped. What are you thinking here? Are you going back to the well from week 1, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so I mean, it's not even that the team that is going to win the game is good. I think the team that's going to lose the game is way worse, honestly. So I'm taking Ole Miss -7 at Arkansas. Ole Miss can put up points. They've proven it all year. They average 42 points a game. They score quickly. They go down the field. And their only 2 losses, and this is important, this entire season, have been to Alabama and LSU. So I'm not saying they're that caliber of a team, but I'm saying that they got blown out both of those games. But the other 4 games they won, their closest margin of victory is 20. So I think, I mean, they've proven they can score. I like them to put up a lot of points against Arkansas. Alabama just hung 60 plus on Arkansas. So Arkansas lost 5 in a row, and their defense has only held 2 opponents all year to less than 34 points.
Wow.
And they were in the 20s. It's not like they've put in a stellar defensive game yet. So I like Ole Miss to cover 7 on the road, even at night. I think it's a 7:00 kick, but I think Arkansas tries to slow it down. I don't even think they can move the ball that effectively on Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss's defense is probably underrated because of how much their offense scores and how much their defense is on the field. So give me Ole Miss -7. I don't like it at 7, but I'm still going to take it. I think they can win by 10 plus.
Arkansas was the one that blew it against Colorado State, right?
Yes.
That was them.
They were up,
okay.
They were up like 20 in the second half.
And they just got
Yeah.
Okay, and they just got kicked in the teeth against Alabama, right? That's what you said?
Yes, they lost by 34 last week to Alabama. They did score 31 points, which is honestly 20 more than I thought they'd score, but they still, I mean, they can't stop anybody.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm
so
looking.
I like Ole Miss. I mean, they're one of the nation's top scoring offenses.
Do you know what they're averaging for me?
Yep, 42.3 a game.
God, I love you. We need a real radio station. God, you're just on the cusp of it, man. You're so good. Arkansas can't hang around. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think so. I mean, they could for a half, but I don't think they have enough. And even if it's a tight game at the end, Ole Miss is the kind of team that can score twice in 5 minutes and just end it quickly. They have a lot of downfield threats. A.J. Brown's their top receiver, and their quarterback averages over 300 yards a game. So they're not going to slow it down until they're up 2 or 3 touchdowns, much like they did in the Texas Tech opening game of the year.
yeah.
They scored, I think they were up 21-7 at the end of the first quarter or something.
Yeah, I'm going to ride an old favorite, and by an old favorite, I mean someone that I absolutely hate right now. Colorado State is awful. They barely beat San Jose State, and San Jose State has actually not been as horrible as expected. But Colorado State is playing New Mexico. And this Sherion, let me see which one's his last name. I don't want to say the wrong one. Is it Jones or Johnson? Jones. Sherrion Jones has came in as a quarterback. Last week had a really good week. 250 yards passing, 72 yards rushing, 4 TDs. I just think there is no defense available on either of these two teams. I think New Mexico has like one good linebacker. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I followed them so much last year, and then their quarterback got hurt, and it was over for me. But this line is dropping. It went from 68 to 65 and a half. I have learned not, and this is like a pick 'em. It's New Mexico -1. And then you were talking about Arkansas, and I started thinking about them again and how they came back. And they will put up points. But this is another one. No way someone doesn't put up 45 points in this game. And Colorado State is good for at least 35. So I'm going to give it to New Mexico, even though they're on the road. Give me that over for me. But what's surprising to me about that pick and that over is I'm still not even close to you on an over you're going to take. Is this the largest over you've taken all season?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And you said this is your top play. You think this is like your favorite pick?
I do. I love this game this week. I think it's going to line up to be a fun one to watch, too.
Hey, listen, that's called a setup for those of you guys listening out there, all 6 of you, and thank you for being consistent. I hope you know we're giving you winners. Fuhrmy, enlighten us. What's the big over you like this week?
So I love Missouri at Alabama over 73, which is a huge number. But obviously I think the game is going to be very up-tempo, very fast-paced. Bama averages 56 a game. And they're the nation's top-scoring offense by, I think, like 6 or 7 points, which is pretty remarkable. And Missouri is 26. They average 39 a game. So they combined average 95 a game. Missouri runs the most plays on offense per game out of anybody. And Alabama has been hands down the best and most efficient offense, So this game's going to be, it has to be a shootout. So Tua Tagovailoa, obviously the quarterback for Bama, he leads the offense. He has 18 touchdowns, no interceptions, which is unbelievable to me. Drew Lock on the other side, I've raved about him a couple times this year. So he's the quarterback for Mizzou, and the only reason this game I was sort of toying with, but I'm still going to just take it. Emmanuel Hall, Mizzou's best wide receiver, he's out. He's been ruled out. I think they ruled him out yesterday. So, and he has 2 other sort of hampered wide receivers, but I think they're going to try to give it a go. If they don't give it a go, I don't think they have much of a chance at all. But either way, I'm taking the over. I think Bama scores 50 plus, and I think Missouri's just going to claw, and I think they can put up 2 or 3 touchdowns to get us to the number. But it's just those 2 teams, they're all offense. Obviously Bama can play D, but Mizzou struggled on defense. I remember watching that Purdue game, and it was just back and forth. And David Blau just ripped them apart. And Mizzou won on the last-second field goal. So give me the over with confidence, over 73.
You're not worried at all that Bama might do what Bama does, put up a 52 burger and just grind them out, get into a 4th and 7 run, deepen the other opponent's ends, half of the field, end zone, yeah, right. And just say, and just an old bend don't break. You're not worried like a 52-14 or that's a ton of points for me.
You're right. But Missouri's going to be the team that's going to keep their foot on the gas. If Bama gave up 31 to Missouri or to Arkansas last week, Missouri can score 20, 24.
Ooh.
That should not be that far-fetched, honestly. Arkansas scored 31 on Alabama. And I didn't get to see how it happened, but I have no clue how that's possible. So I'm not saying
I don't know either. I didn't even turn it on. You know what I mean? I'm assuming that Alabama's just. I heard they're 5 or 6-0 in the first half covering. I mean, they're like a monster right now.
Yeah, nobody can stop them. Like it's remarkable how good they have been on both sides of the ball. Really, I mean, last week was the most points they've given up all year, and it just baffled me. It could have been on the second or third team too, but I thought it was pretty early in the game when Arkansas was putting up points. So
look. I'm gonna go ahead.
Take it. I know you like overs, but it is a risky play.
It's huge. I mean, it's one of those ones where Bama might put up 63, and it's like 63-7. Oh, you know what I mean, Fuhrmy? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to kill your pick, but just for someone who plays an over and sees a high total, I don't like a good defense. Like when I took that Toledo or is it Toledo? I don't know. I over in NCAA. Toledo and Bowling Green over. I knew Bowling Green had a terrible defense and enough of an offense to score. When I looked at Toledo, I said, okay, if Fresno State, who's good, but is not really known for putting up big numbers, puts up 49, I'm thinking, okay, this is a chance that can have that this over can hit. So I understand your rationale about Alabama giving up 30 some odd points to Arkansas, but is Arkansas and Mizzou equivalent? Not necessarily offense. I'm talking all the way around.
I think Missouri's better, I would say, just because they're better offensively. I would say their defenses are pretty similar.
Okay.
So I just think with Drew Lock, they're going to score points. I'm not saying they're going to, they're not going to hang in the game, I don't think. But I would be surprised if he doesn't throw for 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Okay. I'm gonna follow you, of course, because I only take overs. I only like cheering for points. And I'm going to go right back to my favorite conference of all time, the Sun Belt. And this one didn't burn me last year, but I'm going to take an over in a game. Clear skies. There's supposed to be no rain. The hurricane's supposed to be all the way up the coast by this point. It's at Coastal Carolina, and they're against UL Monroe. Now, hear me out. Coastal Carolina has been doing pretty well this season. They're not great, but they're 3-2 right now, which is pretty good by their standards. And considering they're bowl eligible, they need this game. And then they're going up to the University of Massachusetts, and then they end the season with South Alabama. Now they got Georgia State, App State, Arkansas State, and Georgia Southern in between there. They need these games, but I don't think they're going to get conservative. Why? Because they're playing UL Monroe. And wow, Coastal Carolina is 17th in rushing right now in the country. Got 243 yards a game, getting 34 points a game. Their defense is giving up 33 points a game. Their rush yards are horrible. Their passing defense is not that bad. It's 38th. But UL Monroe has Caleb Evans. This team has been dying to get out the box. They can't do it. I was listening to everyone all year long. Take their overs. They're so good. They're going to be so good. They're the sleeper pick. I think their season win total was like at 5. They need this win as bad as anyone as well. I know a lot of people will say, okay, well, that means they're going to tighten up. No, they're not going to tighten up. UL Monroe is god-awful. 128th in total yards, 127th in passing, 101st in rush yards, 125th, giving up 41 points a game. That's all defensive stats. Passing yards, 55th, rushing yards, 88th, and they're only putting up 21 points. Look, they had a pretty tough non-conference schedule. They got beat up by Texas A&M. They ended up winning Southern Miss, which for them is a tough game, and then they just got smoked by Ole Miss. This game to me screams over. This is one of those ones where it might be a little bit, a little iffy in the first half, but then as soon as that second half rolls around, these teams are going to get foolish. I'm just telling you. I am going strictly on gut and what I know from prior bets for me. And something that I will say about these Sun Belt teams, as was shown when I had that over for Georgia State and Troy, the game is not over until it's over. And I love kids that are playing for a reason. And someone's playing for a cheerleader that they've never talked to. They're trying to look good. Even if she's never even going to give them a glance. In their head, they're like, oh, yeah, I got to score. I'm going to look great. I'm telling you. Love those kids. Love them. The cheerleader's focused on her business and her job and what she's doing. So while she's getting, a perfect 10 flip in the air or whatever it is and saying, this is my opportunity, I'm killing it because the team is getting completely and totally blown out, that kid's going to put up the winning score to get the over for some guy in Western Pennsylvania putting about 53 to 55 bucks depending on juice. So I'm telling you right now, Fuhrmy, take the small ball card that I'm telling you this weekend. Number 1, over for Bowling Green, Western Michigan. Number 2, over for Colorado State and New Mexico. Number 3, over for Coastal Carolina, UL Monroe.
Love it.
Yeah, you had to think about that. You're like, I have no idea how he bets all these small ball teams. This is unbelievable.
I don't. I just don't invest enough time into to do a little research. And I don't get a lot of those on TV either. You know what I mean?
You got to get the ESPN Plus. I mean, I'm not getting paid for it, but I'm going to plug them. For $4.99, I'm plugging them right now. That's awesome. Now, is it kind of make me mad a pinch because everything used to be on ESPN3 for free? Yes. Yes, it was. And that is a little bit frustrating to me. But in lieu of that, for $4.99, I'll pay for it. I'll watch it on my computer or on my phone. Did you get that at all? Do you have that ESPN Plus?
I do. I got it.
Yeah. You know what that's going to be real big for me when we get into college basketball, which I am super stoked for as well.
So am I.
We'll have to do a preview show. We won't get too far into it now, though, because we got to keep people in the loop of things. I'll tell you what, for as much as my audio is failing me right now, this voice recorder's hopefully doing the right thing. You got any more games for me? I saw one. You know me. I'm going to disagree with you on something, but go ahead.
All right. So let me rattle off 3 quick ones, and then we'll sign off here. But I'm going to Happy Valley on Saturday.
Ugh.
So I figured I'd talk a little bit about Michigan State at Penn State. Michigan State's getting 13.5. Michigan State is the nation's best run defense. They only give up 33 yards a game, which is remarkable. So I'm taking Michigan State plus the points. I think Penn State wins, but I think Michigan State keeps it close. They always play them tough. So I'll take Michigan State plus 13.5. I like Wisconsin plus 9 at Michigan. Wisconsin just is going to run the ball, or try to at least. Michigan has a good run defense, but I think Wisconsin's going to move it. They always have a good offensive line, usually outsize their opponents. So I like Wisconsin to cover, not saying they're going to win the game outright. And then my final, this is my upset special for the week. I like Navy plus 7 at home against Temple. I actually like Navy to win the game. I think they can upset them. Navy's second in the nation in rushing yards and top 5 in time of possession. Temple is in the bottom half in rush defense, and they're 110th in time of possession. So their defense is going to be on the field a lot. Navy's going to throw the triple option at them, and I think Navy busts a couple big ones, just milks the clock, and I think they grind out a win.
Give me that number again on Temple's defense.
They're 110th in time of possession, and they're in the bottom half in run defense.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I was pretty impressed with Temple. They are not the low and slow Temple that they used to be. They play it a little bit more or less than I would say probably. Who can I compare them to? That's like. I'd have to. Geez, I like.
Do you think they're up tempo?
They're up tempo from what they were. So I was trying to give like.
I think they average time of possession of like 26 minutes a game or something, which is, doesn't sound like, that's not like, I wouldn't say that's fast paced, but it's definitely on the bottom half. Navy holds the ball. I think they have like 36 minutes time of possession. So they have the ball almost 60%, 70% of the game, 60% of the game.
Look, Navy's not going to stop them. They're not going to at all. I took the over for the first half with Temple and East Carolina. I'm telling you right now, if Temple wants to, they can blow the doors off this thing in the first half, and then they're gonna low and slow them till the very end. Let me see what their points are and their yardage is. Do you have that or no?
I don't.
Okay, hold on.
I like Navy in this one.
I just hope you know. I forgot to call you out on this. Who called that under and Kansas cover last week?
You did.
Yeah, I don't think I forgot. Look.
Yeah.
Sorry. Defensively, Temple is stronger on the pass than they are the rush. Yes. They're putting up 32, 33 points a game, and they've been consistent in doing so. It's not like they have a real big one, a real low one. I mean, they've been pretty good across the board. Other than that loss against Villanova and Buffalo, which Buffalo has shown to be pretty good. I mean, 31, 35, 35, 49. I think, if anything, I think this game goes over. I'm interested. That's the second time I've heard take Navy this week. And here's why. Coming off a tough loss against Air Force, Ken Niumatumalo has been known to get his guys up, and they are good at home as an underdog. I'm just trying not to homer it the whole way. That over went from 52 to 49, and Navy got 3 points. I'll agree with you, Fuhrmy, if the hook comes on it. If it becomes 7.5, I'd take the mids just in case. I always like that half point on top.
It could be a very important half point. You're right.
It could, because I could see them doing something just for someone who's watched them for so long, and I love them. I love the mids. They play so hard. And those kids are great down there. Last time these two teams played, it was 34-26. There's an 8-point difference right there. So it's within range. I don't think it's undoable. That might be a good money line play, especially at 7 points for me. You're probably getting 2.5, maybe even 2.8 to 1 on that. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
We gotta get you in it, man. We gotta get you even further involved, Fuhrmy. We're gonna move you out here to the west side of Pennsylvania. We'll get a little radio shop and do our thing, brother. Hey, listen, you got any more? Are you good?
I'm good, man.
All right, hold on 1 second. Stay on. Hey, guys, I apologize for the audio. I've been having this awful problem with this Audacity. That's why there's been no beginning and middle and intro and the whole 9 yards at the end. So I'm doing the best I can, but I'll tell you what is happening, that we have the best picks that we can get available to you. So we have a great week ahead. We have some good games on the slate. We hope everyone wins. Let's build this up and get over 60%. Fuhrmy's at 10-5, and I'm at 9-9. Let's get above double digits for both of us. Hey, everyone have a safe weekend, and we will talk to you next.